Hi everybody, it's David Fleming here from the Toronto Realty Group, and welcome back to this week's Pick 5. Now there are a lot of themes here on Pick 5. Sometimes it is geographic in nature. Let's look at houses in Roncesvalles, or let's look at houses out at Rouge Hill. Sometimes it's based on property type. Today we're looking at 2-bed, 2-bath, semi-detached. Tomorrow we're looking at 1-bedroom condo lofts. Then there's price point. And for the last little while, that's what's really been interesting to me. The reason is that I love to compare and contrast value. Now value is in the eye of the beholder. It's different for everybody. And that leads me into the next point of why I really like to analyze different price points. And it's because it's about priorities. It's about trade-offs, and it's about the difference between one buyer and the next. So in today's Pick 5, I've chosen the number 2 million. I want to look at 5 properties that are listed for sale for $2 million. Yes, they're pretty much all throughout the central core. Yes, they tend to be on the newer side, but I want to compare and contrast the locations, the sizes, the styles, number of beds, number of baths, parking, basement, whether or not it's a Frigidaire or a Maytag, and everything else in between. So let's do this, guys. I'm going to bring you to my MLS. I'm going to show you where I have picked these properties. Now, one of them is up here, which looks like Yonge and Eglinton-ish. We've got one down here towards Lawrence Medina. We've got one in Trinity, Bellwoods. Got one down here in South Riverdale, and then we've got one over here at Greenwood and Coxwell. So trying to keep it somewhat consistent in nature, I really didn't want to show you, let's say, a beaten down piece of land value for $2 million up against a brand new build. But we'll start here with 31 Redwood Avenue. This is a detached. It's 2-story, as you can see. It's on a 25 by 115. 4 bedrooms, 5 bathrooms. Now, where is this located? It's Gerrard and Greenwood. It's a typo in the listing. It's supposed to be funny. So it's Gerrard and Greenwood. So right off the bat, you're saying, do I want to live at Gerrard and Greenwood? Some people yes, some people no. Interestingly enough, I have clients that are location agnostic. They absolutely do not care where they live. It's the house that they want. Whereas I also have clients that hone in on one area, and they say, this is my budget, what can I get? So it's that sort of thing where if you pick this house up and you put it in a different location, you might say you're more or less likely to buy it. But of course, that's all factored into the price. So this is a 2-year-old custom home. First thing you'll notice is that it's a very modern style. Some people will say they absolutely do not like it, and some people will say, yeah, absolutely, it fits. Now, private driveway out front. You can see the metal and siding. Very unique style, and not for everybody. I live in a traditional brick home. This is for somebody that's looking for something a little bit more modern. I might even say flashy, but of course you do have brick elements here for sure. So on the inside, the first thing I notice, right out of Seinfeld, levels, Jerry, levels. Remember when Kramer built his condo at different levels? Yes, very typical that when you have a built-in garage on the main floor in a new build, you usually have one of the rooms that is elevated. Some people love that, and some people actually absolutely hate it. So one of the things that I don't necessarily love is when you walk in and there's 3 steps. You walk in, little area, and then there's 3 steps up to where you put on your shoes. This, at least you walk inside and it's nice and flat. Now they've made the living room in here above the garage, so that's your first little room. Then you're gonna step down, and hopefully there's some more photos that can kind of show you the better flow here, but you've got really incredible ceiling height in this house. So right off the bat, I think this is a really cool house. You may not like, this particular stone. Hey, look, you've got a wolf range, you've got your eat-in kitchen and your built-in banquette. So features and finishes, I would say more on the finish level. Finishes aside, and that looks like a big, Sub-Zero maybe. Aside from that, I would say, okay, well, let's go back to where we started, which is a question about location. So we're going to see some very different locations. There you go. Okay. Oh, you know what? I think that is dining. I was wrong. I said that was built-in banquette. So here's the first trade-off I would say, folks. Personally, I want to have a living, a dining, a kitchen, and a family. And really, I'd love to have that extra table in my kitchen. Call that the eat-in. You have a little round table, whether it's 60 inches in diameter, circumference, not circumference, right? But you know what I mean. You want to have a table not unlike the one I'm sitting at right now. This is a bit big. And then you want to have your big dining room table. The point is, do you want to eat your breakfast at the formal dining room table? Or is it just an embarrassment of riches and we shouldn't be talking about having 3 different dining options? I think the fact that, back here to the screen, is the fact that you can see this is your dining room in a $2 million house. For me right now, I would look at this layout and say, okay, you know what? Again, I told you what I want. My question would be for the individual buyer, what are they looking for? So a lot of open spaces you can see here. This is where you have your wall-mounted TV, and from the photo standpoint here, it's not really explaining the layout. This long built-in here, you might, if you didn't have this, maybe have a dining table there. So look at the layout, guys, and there you've got your bar stools, you've got 4 of them. Look at the layout and tell me if it works for you. Again, that's the living and it's elevated. Do you want the living to be adjacent to the dining? That's a very traditional style. Do you want to have that kitchen that is adjacent to the family, which is what we've got? So I like the design of this. I like the glass. I like the blonde wood, really nice skylights. There you go, bedroom 1, we've turned it into an office. Pretty simple. Combo bathroom closet. Nice finishes, super modern. But I haven't showed you the location yet. I told you it was Gerrard and Greenwood. Oh, they spelled those wrong. So 2 years old, as I mentioned. Presents very, very nicely. Some might say boring. I say clean. European inspired. People did a blog on that once, just to overuse real estate buzzwords. European inspired. People don't even know what that means. They just mean it's sleek. So there's a little balcony that you may or may not ever use. There's a good aerial shot. You can see you've got a walkout from your basement. Again, some people don't like those. They think, when am I ever going to walk out from my basement? It's just cutting into my yard. These photos are a bit out of order now. And there's your basement. So there you can see your walkout, and you end up with this big like concrete bunker thing that usually turns green with algae, and you walk out from here. So I don't know. I don't have a walkout from my basement. I've never been in my basement and been like, I need to go outside right now. So to each their own. And that's what's so cool about today's Pick 5 is that we're comparing and contrasting all these different styles. There you go. You got your little barbecue there, but you do have a nice big gas line. You got your multi-tiered deck. And there's something for everybody in real estate. If we all had an unlimited budget, we could probably get everything we want. There you go, from the backyard, right? Bigger than this, bigger than this, bigger than this. You can kind of see it's like one of the newer builds in the area. So let's go down. That's what I meant by that bunker. You can already see it starting to change in color. And then you would say, well, do I need that walkout from the basement? So in pre-construction, right, when you go out to developments out in the 905, that's a feature. They'll say, yes, for an extra $25,000, we can do a walkout. I would say the same thing here. So location-wise, guys, let's scroll down to the map. So you can see, obviously, intersection of Gerrard and Greenwood. So there's a lot around here. It's kind of the fusion of a bunch of different areas. Greenwood Park down here. You've got Leslieville down here. You've obviously got Danforth Village well up here. It might fall into that area, which is, I don't want to say no man's land, but I do hear that a lot from my clients that are in this area. See this left field brewery? It's funny sometimes when you take an area and then you name it after something that's in the area. I have a friend of a friend that lives on Ivy, and he describes his area as the left field brewery. I'm like, you don't live in the brewery. That's just a landmark in the area. Although to be honest, Leslieville, it's just named after Leslie Street. You could have called it Hewardville, or I guess I could have called it Winifredville. Now I'm going to find out it's named after like John Leslie or something. Okay, so point is, we're in an area that some folks think is neither here nor there. It's sort of in between a bunch of different areas, right? Greenwood Park down here, we've got a lot of clients that are in this pocket. Once you get south of Dundas, you're towards Leslieville. So the question becomes, beautiful house, do you like the layout? Do you like the features and finishes? Do you like the location? But what is the most important of the three? So let's move on to the next one here. 46A Pape. Remember Fight Club and Brad Pitt said we name all the crappy basement apartments with letters? I don't think that's true in Toronto, although I always get a giggle out of that. What we do is if we take a property, say 46 Pape, and then we decide to make it into 2 residences, yeah, you're gonna have 46A and B. Now this is, as you can see, a new build for 2 semis, semi-detached 3 stories. Somebody did a great job in this, infill. They've taken a 30-foot lot, subdivided it. You have 2 15 by 117-foot semis. Now location-wise, spent a lot of time in that first one talking about location and the trade-offs. Actually, if you wanna look up here, you can see this is the original bungalow that was there. And here you see multiplex, likely multiplex, and someone's built these 2 beautiful properties. Now here's Queen Street. It's prime Leslieville. This thing, to me, is awesome. But again, you've got the $2 million. You're making the decision. Is this where you want to plant your flag? I would also say, and we did Pick 5 last week, and it was looking at a bungalow versus a semi, all in the $799 price point. That's a really cool shot there. Are you saying, hey, if I'm going to spend $2 million, I need to get it detached, or does it absolutely not matter to you? So what I'll say about this compared to the first one, this just has a better flow. I'm going to use words that don't mean anything. It's more inviting. I like the finishes here more, but I'm all about the layout. You've got a real dining room here, and you might say, if you're living in a $5 million house, oh, your dining room's in your hallway. It's like when my stepmom came over to my condo for the first time and said, you don't have a kitchen. I was like, you're standing next to my dishwasher and stove. So you have your living, you have your dining, and then at the back you have your kitchen family. I like the flow of this. So it's only a semi, but it's in a killer area. I've got a client right across the street. I'm gushing about this one. I really, really like this. Main floor powder room. It's got a color picked off of a paint chip I would probably never choose, and it's 3 stories. So again, let's compare and contrast. Most of these today are 2 stories. Now you're 3. Does that do more for you? Do you like the spread between the top level and the basement? Do you like to think I'm on the 3rd floor and I have to go down 3 flights of stairs and I'm still in my own house? So much space. Then again, some people prefer a 5,000 square foot condo all on one level. You can really start to see. Now, there's also that adage that the more stairs you have, the more square footage you're wasting. I get that, but I really like this thing. This thing is sharp, right? Look at the ceiling height. This is for the master primary. The ensuite, a lot of storage space, really nice. I love the staging too. And look at the ceiling height in the basement. That's amazing. And there you've got your walkout again. I just said in the other property, do you want to have that walkout, right? So yeah, maybe. I mean, I don't love that. Like, no one's ever sitting there, don't get me wrong. So I see why they do it. It's a feature. They're also trying to let more natural light in, but I think you've got the ceiling height there. I don't think you need to. If it's me personally, I'd rather skip the walkout, make a nice big back deck. These things are really sharp. So garage, little patch of grass. I'm gonna typecast. Whoever's buying this has an annoying yappy little dog. I have an annoying yappy little dog. And there you go. I went through that one quickly, but I love this house. 46A Pape, 45 days in the market, $1,995,000. Man, 3 stories, essentially brand new, prime Leslieville. If there's an award to give so far, I think it would be to this one. Our next one here, guys, 24A Oxton Avenue. So very different location. This is up near Chaplin, right? This is up near Chaplin Estates, if you will. See what I mean? In the last one, I mentioned Leslieville is named after Leslie. Chaplin's named after Chaplin. Call it Chaplin Estates. So I don't know where the name comes from, but I also think that Chaplin Estates would be, well, more sort of in here. And this is kind of getting down towards, right, UCC, right? Down into here, which is sort of into Deer Park. But what it is another property that to me looks like, well, somebody took an existing building, rezoned it, redeveloped it, and now you have 2 semis. So very interesting to play this one off the last one because this is a semi-detached. It is 3-story, 15 by 49, so it feels like same thing. It had a bungalow that was on a 30-footer, or 4 beds, 6 baths, but it's $1,995,000, 52 days in the market. Okay, maybe there's not as much of a market for the $2 million semi-detached, but I think these things are super cool. This one's a little bit older, so you can tell from the finishes, but the location here, guys, the location. This is, I don't want to say a better location. It's certainly a different demographic. You're down in Leslieville, you're definitely a different demographic, different type of person from someone that's living up in Deer Park next to UCC. This is an incredible price point for this area. You'd be hard pressed to find anything with 4 beds and 6 baths in this area. But you've got something that might be a bit dated. I think it's great presentation. I know the listing agent's here. We chat every once in a while. Gives me a call just to check in. I like that. I like chatting with agents. I had an hour phone call with Chris Bibby earlier this week. Boy, we were just like 2 old ladies yapping, honestly. But you do like to chat with agents now and again, see what they're seeing in the market, what they're feeling. So yeah, good for these guys. Wish you guys all the best this fall. So again, finishes might be a little bit more dated, but I think that's factored into the price. And it's 3 stories. This is like an executive townhouse, right? This is the person that wants to be in this area, maybe has kids at the school, maybe they are going to UCC, and maybe you don't have $9 million to live around the corner. This is incredible value for this location, and I think it checks all the boxes, right? We have our extra room for the office. We've even got our deep basement. There you go, not the same ceiling height as the one we just saw. We've got our gym, our deck. We do have our backyard, there you go, and very urban, right? This is not as, well, it's obviously not as new as a Leslieville one, but this feels a little bit more condensed. So I like this one. I like this one a lot. You know what I really like? I like these 2 chairs that look really relaxing, and I just would never find the time to sit in them and swing. Okay, so like that one, I still really am vibing Pape, But if we're playing the game, am I like a 45-year-old guy with 2 kids, or am I like a 25-year-old and someone gave me $2 million? Now we're gonna have to look at something completely different and play that game again, because now we're $1,998,000 and we're on Major Street. And this is not a new house. It's also not a semi. This is a row house attached at both sides, but this is a late 1800s Victorian. Check out where this thing is, guys. Oh, hello, not quite annex, Harbored Village, yes sir. Beautiful, beautiful Victorians all throughout this area. You know I've done pick 5s on Victorian area homes before. I've done pick 5s on, well, in the annex, for example, in Harbored Village. This is super, super pretty. So this is a renovated version of a 130-year-old house. Look at this, original door, like original mail slot. This could be refurbished, who knows? But it's funny because I'm just looking at that sleek house on Pape and thinking how cool it is. Now I'm oh, look at this. Look at that. Does that not get you moving? That is so cool. That's 130 years old. That's wild. And then I look at it and I'm like, well, would I like to live in a house that's got all these old features? Because I'm kind of a history buff and like old architecture and houses. Or would I like to live in that sleek, sexy new house, right? I want to peel the blue cellophane off of the appliances. So this is just a really dynamite reno. And at $2 million, completely different price point. See this here? No one would do this in a house today. With this rounded archway, with these ornate moldings, you just don't get this level of detail. People are too busy. Let's do it as quick as possible so we can go back to Instagram and see what Kim Kardashian's up to. God, am I typecasting. This stove, probably something really cool I don't know about. Probably some make and model. I wouldn't even know how to use it. Like the Aga cooker. We have a listing with an Aga cooker. It's not a stove, it's a cooker. It's from England, and it's on all the time. Agents keep calling me and saying, hey, I'm a little worried the stove's on. No, it's a cooker, and it's supposed to be warm all the time. If there's ever an ice storm, it'll heat your entire house. So this is beautiful. I mean, wow. Not the same buyer, though. And this is what's so fun about today's Pick 5, at least for me, is if you are looking for a $2 million house, location is important. Housing style, housing size. What about a Victorian? How do you play an 1886 Victorian off of a 2023 new build on a subdivided lot? And then I think you get down to the basement and it's like complete, yeah, here you go, watch this. It's like wires and yeah, wires overhead. And then there's, yeah, this one here. You guys could have skipped staging this, right? We're not fooling anybody, but like the house itself, I mean, yeah, you've got the bathroom down there. Oh, you got the home gym. I would crush down there, just crush it. Being my half-finished basement, crushing. And you can see here, right, we're downtown. We're Harbored Village, we're annex. Not a huge lot, and this is your parking space back here. This is your fence, it's 1-car parking. So there's another trade-off to make. Am I okay with having 1 car, 1.5? Never seen a half a car. No one's ever sawed a car in half and put it in the MLS listing. I'm waiting for that. But would you like this absolutely impossible to replicate, unique, magazine-worthy, restored Victorian, or do you want the newer build in a different area? Maybe more size, maybe more style. So the last one here, guys, this is 113 Bellwoods Avenue. And this is down as you would expect in the Trinity Bellwoods area. This is 2 blocks from Trinity Bellwoods Park, perfectly situated between Dundas and Queen Street. And the fact that they're showing us the first photo is a rooftop terrace tells me that this is likely a new build, new development, could be subdivided. It's a 17 by 127. And there you go, right? It's actually infill. It's a renovated version of what would be an original, not post-Edwardian era. This looks like an Edwardian house. Yeah, this is kind of what it looks like in here. It's probably, 30s, 40s, 50s. So again, on the inside, looks like something out of a design magazine. And if you're saying, I want to live in Trinity Bellwoods, one of my best friends bought a house down at, gosh, what was it? Shaw, Dundas and Shaw, right? We were in our, late 20s, and eventually move out of the area. Move to Midtown, have kids. This is kind of that, yeah, I want to be down in Trinity Bellwoods. I'm past the condo phase. I really like older houses, but I don't want it to feel older. You play this off of the one that we just saw on Major, completely different vibe. Similar layout, similar size, probably similar lot footage and square footage and lot depth. So it might look a little plain Jane compared to the last one, but that one, remember that front door looked like an old ornate elevator? This is really pretty too. Just a very different style. So bathrooms, the window in the shower, that's really neat. I just love to be in there and wave to people. and they think that you're, in the kitchen, and you're like, absolutely not. This is my part plus. Okay. Then you've got the basement. We're not staging the basements. Really hard to have a killer basement in like a 130-year-old house, because how in the world do you excavate that? Oh my God, this is a sign. The universe is telling me those chairs, again, I just jokingly said I wouldn't have time. I know what I'm doing right after this. Actually, I know what those cost because I looked into it in 2012 when my wife and I were living in the condo, and suffice it to say, I did not buy one. They were pricey. So here's your parking. Kind of skip through that one a little bit, but it's not as sexy. There you go. There's your rooftop terrace. That is sexy. And that's like the person that came from the condo, like you're past your King West years, clubbing on Richmond. No, that was what I did. Now they've all been torn down and turned into condos. But you're still looking for that rooftop terrace. And in case you can't see, there is glass around here. It's not just like 2 feet and you fall to your death. Yeah, they've actually, they've done the glass rail. You just can't see it. And then you can see the CN Tower. So different strokes for different folks. I think that's a super cool house. But if I had to pick one of these, and they're all so different, listen, Oxton, it might be the least sexy, but how are you getting into that area for that price point? Major is gorgeous if you like older homes. I really liked Pape. That was a super, super cool house. But you know what? Hey, Redwood was the only one that was detached. So I think the moral of the story, guys, in case this wasn't abundantly clear from the start and throughout, there's something for everybody. You take any price point, $1 million, $2 million, $3 million. There are going to be houses that you like and that you don't. And the person next to you might completely contradict everything that you say and value. So here we saw row, semi, detached, 2-story, 3-story. We saw Midtown, we saw downtown, we saw old, we saw new, and they're all $2 million. Folks, that is it for me for this week. Thank you so much for watching. As always, I hope you enjoyed watching as much as I enjoyed presenting it to you. If you have any questions about this or all things real estate, feel free to email me, davidfleming@bosleyrealestate.com. Drop me a comment in the YouTube section below. And if you'd like Pick 5 emailed to you every week as soon as they come out, go to torontorealtyblog.com and sign up. Thanks for watching, guys. Have a fantastic weekend, and we'll see you next week. Bye for now.